Welcome to Smash Writing. And today we are talking about the hit movie.
The hit movie. It just came out. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Yes.
Well, it'll be a hit movie.
200 million Netflix spent on it. It better be.
Yeah, the most expensive movie they've ever done.
We are talking about The Gray Man.
We're talking Stranger Things. I want to be happy.
Justin doesn't want to be happy. So, of course, we were reviewing The Gray Man, and let me give a rundown of the plot
He has to
fill Justin in of what he missed.
Because Justin turned it off at the 22-minute marker. Decided he's going to do better things with his time. We'll get into the why later in later reviews.
So, the film stars Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans and Billy Bob Thornton here. The plot is actually simple. It's based on the book The Gray Man, and...
Yeah, I'll sum up the plot for you. CIA recruit bad man to kill bad people. 18 years later, bad man kills another one of the bad men because there was a new boss and he doesn't like Sierra. And bad man gives the bad man a medallion and a chip. This upsets the boss, who brings in a worse bad man, pitting bad man against bad man. And at this point, I don't care about any of you.
Okay, now, that is 85% in plot, but what's on the chip is stuff that would incriminate the boss, the new boss.
Imagine that.
Because he basically did all these things and had Lloyd as his henchman to go and kill and tie up some loose ends. That way he can have government secrets and kind of start to pull the strings behind the closed doors of things. Which means now he has to get rid of Six because he sees this information as well. And Six and his partner, who is an actual agent, they now have to fight for their survival. And Six's old partner, Fitz, gets involved, even though he's out of the picture because they have
bad man kidnapped daughter.
No, that's his
granddaughter,
niece, who has a pacemaker. Okay.
That
is generally it.
Compared to the sociopath kidnapping your niece. No, she has a medical condition too, because we really have to separate bad man from bad man.
But then we learned that Six isn't a bad man per se. He went to prison because he killed his dad, who was beating him and his brother, and he had to make a choice. So he said he was either going to be him or his dad, so he shot his dad. He went to prison. That's where Fitz comes in. And
why would he go to prison for that anyway? Good luck finding a jury to send him to prison.
I know. That,
yeah.
There was
Is he in Florida? Especially in Florida.
No, this was more, they didn't actually say where he was from, but he ended up going... no, I think he was
in Florida?
Yeah, he did get sent to the prison. I don't know if it all happened in Florida.
In Florida, you can pretty much shoot anyone you want anyways. It's Florida.
So here's the thing about this movie, is that it was written by the same... The books were written by the same writer that did the Ryan books. CIA with Ryan.
Oh, I don't remember.
So obviously this was like popular, but I guess
it's Gray Man because they work in the gray. They're bad people who kill people, but they
which still doesn't make sense because
it's in the gray.
Ryan Gosling's character isn't technically he committed self-defense.
Yeah, kind of in a way.
So he was never bad to begin with.
He wasn't being beat at the time and just killed his dad anyway, but...
Well, he does tell a story that his dad was beating up his brother and him at once, and then when he got done with his beating, the brother was getting beaten on, so he got the gun and killed his dad.
Yeah.
So, technically, I guess that's still in the act of the moment.
Well, yeah, it's a third-person defense. You're defending the life of someone who's in danger.
And not mention he just beat the crap out of you, too.
Yeah.
So...
mental distress, years of PTSD.
Like, literally, this guy would
you're not going to jail for this.
Literally, this guy
Even if you're against it,
They
Good luck
gave him
finding
like
12 other people to say,
they gave him like 50 years.
yeah, something.
Because when Fitz came and got him in prison, it was 2003, and he said, "quote You're here until 2031 or something like that."
Yeah, 2030 or 2041.
But in a scene when you fully see the whole story, he's a much younger person. So you're going to have to ballpark at least 50-year sentence for a self-defense crime.
Yeah.
Oh, this was so inaccurate. I get that.
I get it. It's supposed to be a dumb action movie, right? Which is fine.
Was
but-
it, or was it supposed to be taken much serious?
No, I hope not.
I don't know nothing about the books. I might have to look that up to see how these books really are. Apparently, there's like a lot of them.
I wouldn't doubt it if it's coming from the Ryan guy. There's
Yeah.
a lot of the Ryan books.
So the plot, obviously you pretty much.
These movies, I wrote it down in my notes that I don't have. I left them at the house too. It's kind of like Kate, right? Kate had, if you don't get hooked early, Kate managed to hook you in early, and then pull you into this role. Because once you hook them early in these movies and you pull them in, so you don't notice the shit going on in the movie, and you can overlook inaccuracies, and you're willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because you're enjoying yourself. But if they can't hook you early, like this movie did not hook me early, then those inaccuracies pile up really quickly, and you can't get into it.
The thing for me is with this film is, so you're talking about the first 20 minutes. Everything was really given in the first 25 minutes. Like the whole plot was basically played out within 25-30 minutes of a movie that's 2 hours and 9 minutes long.
They set Gosling's character, Court, up as a bad man. But they had to differentiate him from Lloyd.
Who's played by Chris Evans.
You introduce a character in the hit scene where there's a child in the way, so he improvises something to get the child out of the way, because he won't hurt a child. So you introduce Lloyd in the exact opposite of him kidnapping a child.
Now,
so now that's as far as that's your line here. That's a real shady line.
Now, and I'll get on how I rate how the actors portrayed their characters. I feel like the overall film was that they wanted to make a deep thriller, and they just didn't have the material. That's how it felt to me, because it's like...
I kind of took it as they wanted to make a deeper Suicide Squad movie with humans instead of, the DC characters, because the Sierra Project is Suicide Squad.
That is
They
true.
bring in bad people to do bad things, and they don't exist in any intel.
Yeah, and they try to, but said it is, I don't know much about the book and whether this was a true knockoff or in the sense of, I just felt like this movie wanted to be a deep thriller.
Yeah.
But they failed at it. Now, I'm not taking away from the performances. Billy Bob Thornton as Fitz is just there. Chris Evans as a Lloyd Henson.
Chris is really trying to get away from Captain America, isn't he?
Yes.
The last two roles I've seen him play was he was the asshole character, and then it being the murderer.
Which other character?
Knives Out.
Oh, okay. Now, him as Lloyd Henson, he was a smart-ass asshole, which means he was definitely up there, but he would crack a joke in a mean way.
Well, that's because they're also misrepresenting, in a way, what sociopath is.
And they label him that in the film.
Yeah, well, they continuously call him sociopathic.
Yeah. So I think he did a good job. Ryan Gosling, 6, was once again doing a good job. The saving grace of this film, for me to keep it above was really the amount of action that came in the last 45 minutes. And there was non-stop, hand-to-hand fight scenes, which, Chris Evans and both Ryan Gosling has been in movies, where they're built and they can do some awesome fight scenes. And the film was carried by these fight scenes, in my opinion.
Well, it's an action movie. You're going to be defined by your fight scenes.
Right, but I feel like they were still trying to be a thriller and add action in it. And they failed at the thrilling part, so they had to make that back end of that film just go hardcore. And I said both Chris and Ryan are in great
Well, see,
shape.
the problem, you keep saying they tried to make it a thriller. Were they? Because one of the first lines was Billy asking him if he wanted gum. And he said, what kind you got? And it was, yeah, she's like, Bubblicious watermelon wave.
But I don't think
And
that...
then Smuts was like, is there any other kind?
Yeah, well, he was like, well, you're not going to get me to talk much with that
Bubblicious.
Bubblicious, let alone a watermelon flavor. I don't know, because I don't know much about the books.
So I wrote that in my notes too. It was Boom Boom Lemon greater than Bubblicious.
So
I will. Every chance I get, I will talk about Boom Boom Lemon.
I know you will.
We're over a year.
Yeah, really. So I don't know how much... I do think they were still trying to be a serious thriller, just not... They just couldn't deliver that way. Like I said, it was action heavy in the last 45 minutes to really save this film. Netflix spent $200 million on this film. I will say this much: if this movie were to hit theaters, good luck trying to get that budget back.
Oh, I think that's gonna be. I think it'll be fine. Lowbrow action movie.
But $200 million.
Nah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that'll be fine.
I don't know if it will be like considered a hit though. Maybe make the money back. But at $200 million, you're looking at an $800 million plus return.
I didn't see much advertisement going on for this movie.
Neither did I. Like, they literally... That's the thing, too, that does hurt films, is the advertising. I think they advertised this, like, 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
Because I
Something
literally
like that.
just brought, like, when we were going over our ideas for recording, that was... We usually do it, like, 2 weeks before we record. And that's when it literally popped up. I'm like, oh, this does look like, you know, Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling. It's going to be an action film. Just nothing much to it besides the good fight scenes. And I know action films rely on that,
Yeah.
but there's also action films that have good stories.
Okay.
Or Jesus,
Crank.
do not talk about Crank.
Crank. That's the story. Shoot 'em up. Those are stories.
So, in the end, let's give Justin his
D.
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 That's a hard D for 25 minutes of a film.
That's why you. I mean, all right, fine. I'll be nice. C. You get a C. I guess it was a good concept. I couldn't care about it, obviously.
I am giving it...
And if some of the next movie we're going to be talking about, I at least watched.
That's going to make it fun. I am giving this film probably a C as well. And mostly what's keeping it at a C is that the amount of action, the fight scenes were good to get it to C. Like, if everything else was good, this would probably be an A. But because of everything else being bad, the action was A level, but it could only get to the film as C. I did think... I did enjoy both Chris and Ryan as the leads, bad guy versus bad guy. They managed to keep both characters strong, even though some, you know, and everything else like that. But it really was C, an average film at the end of the day. But that is our review of The Gray Man. Until next week.
Bye-bye.